Hey guys, how's it going? Anthony Muthraja here, back with the Q&A series, part 2. Alright, so I already have the 3 questions I want to answer. Now the first question is something I get asked a lot in many variations and forms, and that is, what scales am I thinking when I improvise? Or what scales do I use when I improvise? Okay, now the truth is, when I improvise, I'm not trying to think I'm going to play this scale here or that scale here. That's something you do when you practice. When you practice, you try out all your options, you weigh out all your options, but when you play, you just play. So if I'm thinking about a song like Green Dolphin Street, for example, right, I'm not thinking, okay, I'll do the C major, and then when it goes to the minor, I'll do C minor. No. When I practice, yeah, sure. Right? So I'm just trying to create melodies as I go when I improvise. All right? But to answer your question, what are the scales that I'm thinking of or I practice? It's actually just 2 scales. It's the melodic minor and the diminished scale. For me, I find all the tonal options that I like for my taste in those 2 scales. And if it's a matter of knowing your instrument and knowing sound for you to be able to find different colors. So even if I'm playing a melodic minor, it's not a big deal for me to go into the harmonic minor, but I don't have to think of that on a separate basis. Right? So I want the harmonic minor, I just play that flat 6. So it's a very simple process. So I found myself just hanging on to these 2 scales for the most part. Like 80% of what I play is based on these 2. If you don't believe me, you can go ahead and transcribe videos of me playing solos on Instagram or Facebook, and you will really hear that that's what I do for the most part. But obviously the creative side of it is where you have to work on it and finding your voice and all that kind of stuff. So to answer your question, 2 scales, melodic minor and diminished scale, both whole half and half whole. All right, now the next question is from Amber Shelton. How do you apply chromatic ideas to melodic minor and pentatonic scales? I'm going to generalize this and say, how do you apply chromatic ideas in general? Now, the first misconception with chromatic ideas in an improvisation point of view or compositional point of view is that people think chromatic notes have to happen in a sequence, meaning if I'm in G, chromatic is or, but there are many other ways to do. Right? So the idea is that if you take a skeletal frame like a pentatonic scale and try to find chromatic notes around it, what you should not do is resolve on the scale, like yeah, that's cool, but try something like a right? So you are taking the skeletal frame of a pentatonic, but you're not thinking do 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 dee 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 that. No, but you're playing with space, and then you're using these chromatic notes to get to another spot. So something like right? So in simpler words, it is trying to explore playing a melody in any form and shape. So even if you have a G minor pentatonic sound, try to find a different pentatonic sound over it. Even that is chromaticism for me. It's not necessarily just a bunch of notes played in a string, no. So you hear a lot of like something like right? And just try to sing along with your ideas as well. Don't just get confined to playing them in a string. That is my biggest stress. So I do this, I don't just do this with scales, I just try to create chromatic melodies. And by chromatic melodies, I mean melodies which don't have a harmonic backing. Basically, just you're creating melodies out of nothing. So that's what I try to do. Hello. All right, my cat wants attention. All right, now. Okay, she doesn't like my answer, I think. What? Come on. All right, now the next question is a two-part question. Okay, in simple words, are there any flat finger exercises that lend to skillful fret hand muting? All right, so this is to do with your left hand if you're right-handed, or right hand if you're left-handed. Muting with the fretting hand, basically. Okay, now one of the most important things about the left hand is that you need to position yourself in such a way that you're not just ready to play the notes, but you're also ready to just mute. Okay, so one of the things I found useful was running single string ideas and then just moving them across all the strings. So let's say, Nala, please. Let's say something like this. Right? Now I can, that's just using one finger. Now when I'm playing the G string, for example, my left hand is taking care of the string right below it in the moment, and the other two strings, the E and the A, is taken care of by the right hand. So really it's a combination of the two. But now if I try a different figure with the left hand, something like that. Now when I'm playing the E string, the left hand is muting the three strings that are not being played by the pinky. It just sits there. It's not fretting or anything, it's just there. And when I play the A string, the first finger is taking care of the E, D and G. And now when I'm playing the D string, my middle finger is taking care of the E and A. Right? So what I like to do is try to find the most strange figures for the left hand to develop this kind of muting. All right, so at any given point, any string you play, usually the left hand will take care of two string sets. Like if I'm playing A, left hand will take care of D and G. Okay, it can also be taking care of the E with these two fingers if they are available. But if I'm playing with the middle finger on the A string, my options get a little limited, but it's still possible. So the ring finger takes care of the E, first finger takes care of the top two strings, the D and G. All right, but usually if I'm playing with the middle finger, my E is taken care of with my thumb. And that's why usually I will not play a certain phrase or certain grooves with the middle finger, because it leaves for awkward fretting options and muting options. Like if I take like this Jaco line, it's very natural to do it with the first finger. But I've seen some people with big fingers do it in the middle. Right? But for the most part, it's a combination of the two. But what you can try is like what I showed you earlier. Just take single notes. And then just run them all over the neck in any sequence you want to. And just pay attention to what's happening with your left hand at any given point when you're playing any given note. All right, so I think I will do an in-depth lesson on the muting, and it's definitely an interesting topic to look into because it's something we need, it's essential for bass players. All right, so I hope your questions were well answered. Please keep the questions coming because it's really interesting and interactive for me. All right, so until the next one, I'll see you guys in the shed. Peace.